So I was actually planning to do this video for a while now, but I've kind of been lacking, and since tomorrow is the DC fandom where they're most likely gonna be showing the roster of the Suicide Squad in the Suicide Game, I'm basically making a fan cast of different characters that I would put into the team for this game. Now I'm picking 7 characters besides Rick Flag because, well, he's usually going to be the leader. That's not a villain, and then I'm gonna have 3 more what you call like characters that are least likely, but an honorable mention. That's what it is. But they're least likely. But hey, I still wanna put them in there. So yeah, let's get into it. Now for the first 3, we kind of already know that these characters, or I'm more than certain that these characters will be in this game. So I'm just gonna add them to my list too, and I kind of like them. So the first one is Harley Quinn. She's been having some recent success with her getting her own comic book series, her getting away from the Joker. She's in a lot of newer comic book events, like by herself. She's gotten her own animated TV show and movies. She's got, well, is one movie solely for her, kind of, but the actual Suicide Squad movie is basically a movie for her too because she's one of the main characters. So yeah, Harley Quinn, number 1. Number 2 is Deadshot. He's been with the team, I think, in every incarnation, even the first ones. I'm more than certain. And he's just a badass. Why not? A guy who could just hit you no matter where you are with his bullet. He doesn't even need to kill you with a gun. He could really hit you with anything. Yeah. Another one that has gotten some recent success, mainly just because of his TV appearances on Suicide Squad, is Captain Boomerang. This character, he's more of a comedic aspect of the team. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And yeah, he's actually a pretty cool character. And in the game, they could probably show that he's not just there to make jokes, but he's a really big freaking dick. Yeah, because in the comics, like he literally let one of his teammates die because he didn't like them. And yeah. Number 4 is Blockbuster. This could be the muscle. Yeah, or they could possibly do what they basically did with the whip guy in the movies, where as soon as they went on their mission, he just died. And this could also be a callback to, in the first Suicide Squad movie, he was the first ever member to ever die. And yeah, so they could either do the original one, the one that people aren't used to, because it's actually his brother, who majority of people are probably going to be used to, who is also called Blockbuster. But yeah, the 5th spot is Scavenger. This character, yeah, this you could get more into like the dark aspect of for this character because okay, so initially he was an Aquaman villain, and then he became good, but then him finding Hawkman, because they're both reincarnations of some ancient characters, so him finding Hawkman made him bad again, and it turns out that he was actually part of a group of fucking pedophiles who recorded each other raping young boys, and because of this, you could kind of get into the dark aspect of Suicide Squad because they are villains. The movies and the certain characters do make a little bit more lighthearted because they're, comedians, and they're essentially on the good side now, but they're actually villains and they're being forced to be good because they have bombs in their neck. So with a character like this will remind you that these are villains. They are in no means heroes, and will, like, once their sentence is diminished after doing these missions, they will go back to doing villainous things like this character who is, Scavenger. I was almost said Barracuda because one incarnation he is Barracuda, something like that. Anyways, when they're done, he will most likely go back to his pedophilia ways, which is not good. So yeah, number 5, Scavenger slash Barracuda. Number 6 is Zebra Man in the latest Suicide Squad comics or comic. I think only one of them is out now. Anyways, he is one of the members. I was to say he looks like a zebra, and he's kind of like a super weakened Magneto because he could like control metal, or he could control any like mineral besides metal, something like that. And in the latest Suicide Squad comics, he actually made a force field around the leader guy. Actually, Rick Flag might not be the leader. It might be that guy that he made the force field around for this. I'm not too sure. They might go with the movie route, or they might do something entirely new. If you guys non-DC fans may be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But in the movie and even in the comics, Rick Flag is usually like always the leader. He's a military soldier, and he gets stuck being the leader of the Suicide Squad because he's like a psychopath, something like that. I'm not too sure. And but in the recent comics, I don't know like how long this has been going on for, like how many times he has been the leader. But at least in the newer Suicide Squad comics, where I believe only issue 1 is out, it's his new character who has kind of a burnt face, and I don't remember his name. So yeah, I'm just going on. Yeah. And for the 7th and final character is Calendar Man. Now I know what you may be thinking. Why this character? He's so trash and he has no powers. Well, because the Suicide Squad are essentially made to kind of fail. It's a way to get rid of the villains from, holding them in the prison. But hey, if they do succeed, then they succeed. But that's also why they give them so many missions, so that they could fail. They say that, oh, you'll be free after this many missions, but after a while they know they're gonna fail. Anyways, Calendar Man. He's a villain who is obsessed with dates, calendars, and stuff like that. He usually does his crimes on specific holidays. He has no powers. And also, originally the team was full of like super grounded villains that don't really have powers. They just started giving them a little bit more powerful characters to the team roster as of recently. And when I say recently, I mean like probably from the last decade, which is pretty long actually. But yeah, final character, Calendar Man. Now for my 3 honorable mentions. The first one is Deathstroke. Now the reason I put this character here is, well, because he's dope. He's probably the best fighter out of all these characters so far, and he could, every time him and Deathshot are around each other, they always go back and forth. So it'll be interesting to see an eternal, I don't know, warfare within the team while they're, fighting whatever villains they're fighting. And they can also do it for comedic purposes. Like, I don't know, like while they're, killing these goons, them two are like, oh, I'm getting more kills than you, or something like that, or I have the best kill. So yeah. My second honorable mention is Manta, Black Manta. This character's dope. He would probably be the smartest character on the team. I may be mistaken. I'm not too familiar with everyone on this list, but yeah. And he's probably a tokenized character. They'll also do that too. They'll probably add some tokenized characters. And why not do it with Black Manta? He's dope. Um, I don't really have any words with him for now. I don't make scripts. I just say this off the top of my head. So, and it's really early. So, anyways, Black Manta. Number three, one of my favorite villains is my favorite DC villain, Bane. It's a second. He could be a second tokenized character, or I guess the third because Harley Quinn's a girl. Um, he's also really smart. He's mentally stable. He could possibly even be the leader because how like level-headed he is. He works his body and his mind together, making himself the perfect being. You know what I'm saying? If he have steroids to ruin his body, he would possibly be even better than Batman. Now he has taken out Batman even without the Venom serum, and while Batman has his, Batman armor. Anyways, these are my three honorable mentions. Yeah, peace. Suicide Squad.